Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd Podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. So Austin Rivers came out and said I could pick 30 NBA players and play in the NFL. J.J. Watt fired back. And I said today there are sports, and the NBA is included in this, tennis, golf, baseball, basketball. There is a skill level that erodes very quickly if you don't stay on it. If you don't hit a baseball for 2 months, you're cooked. Basketball, when I was playing high school basketball into college every day, if I took a week off, my ball handling wasn't quite as good. And NFL is the one sport where you don't have to play college and you can be a Hall of Famer, Antonio Gates. It's not a repetitive sport. In some instances, mechanics for quarterback, yes. Kicking, yes. But a lot of it is strength, brutality,
instincts,
physicality.
Raw athleticism.
More than any other sport, football, which is why so many of us play high school football and so many people participate. You can be big. You don't have to be fast. You can be a guard. You can only be able to kick. Yeah. You can be a punter, right? Like there's a bunch of different stuff. That said, I don't think basketball players have any idea how much getting tackled hurts.
So
if you ever go to the sideline of an NFL game and watch Christian McCaffrey get hit, you cannot believe he can get up. You cannot believe he's not severely injured. It is a car wreck on every tackle.
So you should watch. You obviously know these guys, Howie Long's kids, Chris and Jake Long, so they have a podcast, called Greenlight. And you, by the way, you own a podcast business or an audio business. I think they are great. I think he tweeted, he said, emergency rant coming on Austin Rivers. And Colin, when I tell you this is some of my favorite 10 minutes of media in the last month, you have to listen to it because his entire take is that not that guys couldn't do it, but because they're not good enough at football. But and I'm going to not do it justice. He's like, oh, okay, Austin Rivers, you think you guys can come play football? Well, here's the deal. We got 53 guys on the team. There's 3 massage therapists. Oh, your body hurts? Well, the masseuse is available at 4 o'clock. Why don't you get a lift in and shut up? You're used to that in the NBA? He's like, oh, in the NBA, your coaches, how do they talk to you? Because my coaches MF me and then tell me to go lay in a queen-size bed at training camp with another guy in my room. He's like, he does a whole thing. He's like, what's your flights like? Because for 40 of us, we're in the coach seats on a plane. When's the last time his whole take was not you wouldn't be good enough, but that our lives are just different. Our coaches coach us. Our practices are hard. He was like, what happens in the NBA when somebody gets hurt? Do they cancel shoot around? Because in the NFL, they move the drill. They just move. They're like, guys getting carted off. It is a great rant. With that said, I came up with 8 guys. I want to know. I didn't know you were going to talk about this. I came up with 8 guys and their position. I guess it's 7 guys. All right. So Anthony Edwards could play running back or safety. I am certain of it. I am certain Anthony Edwards could do it. Young LeBron would be the greatest tight end in NFL history. I know it's true. Westbrook could play in the NFL. I'm not sure the position. Maybe edge rusher, maybe safety. Josh Hart, I think, can be a wide receiver just based on his rebounding this playoffs. Chris Long said I'm just going to trust him on this because I never would have thought of it, but he played the position. He was like, I've been watching the playoffs. I could make Jaylen Brown a pass rusher. I'm like, okay, I believe you. He was like, he has great bend. He seems a little mean. He's like, I could do it. And this is going to sound mean, and I am not being mean. I am simply saying he would have to put on weight, which I think he can, and then all of a sudden it would be a benefit. He has great feet, great athleticism. I think Zion could potentially be an awesome lineman. He's 6'6". He obviously, can carry it big. Like Jason Peters was a tight end that went to it. So I do think where I think Austin Rivers had a kernel of accuracy is there are certainly more NBA guys that there are probably 5 NBA guys that could be good NFL players. Like good. Like, hey, give me a year to train, be a good NFL player. And I don't know that there's any NFL guys that could be really good NBA players because, like you said, your skill has atrophied. And if you're not over 6'6", it's all about skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's nobody that's 6'10" in the NFL to begin with.
So I think the list you made would be shorter. But to give you an example, I think because football players are so thick, we forget how big they are. Go look at the video of Micah Parsons without his shirt on this week. He makes Ant Edwards look like me. He is so big. I'll give you an example. There's an old photo of Michael Jordan standing next to Barry Bonds. He looks like a straw. Remember Michael playing baseball? He looked so like skinny. He was amazing.
No, that part's fair. That part's fair. Where
these NFL guys, they regularly leg press 550 pounds.
Yeah.
That is, when you watch Micah Parsons without a shirt on, my take is, and there are times he is engulfed by Trent Williams.
So people do. We all have our brain doesn't process how big NFL guys are and how tall NBA guys are. Our brain doesn't accept it. Like, yeah, I mean, you see around the office occasionally, I assume my son, because he works on the lot. You've seen him there. He is almost always the biggest guy in the room. He's 6'3" and a half, probably 200 pounds, maybe 190. And he, in a room of regular people, he's an imposing figure. He is the exact same height and about 10 pounds lighter than Steph Curry. And Steph Curry in the NBA looks like a little guy. And it's like, no, actually, Steph Curry's the size of a bouncer at a decent nightclub. It's like, you know what I mean? And so everybody forgets how tall NBA guys actually are. That the guys when you're watching the basketball game and a guy looks like he's average height, he's 6'7". And if you worked with someone who was 6'7", you would gawk at them. And you're right about how just the raw strength of the average NFL player. That part is unquestioned. Which
and the Long brothers pointed out the physical and mental toughness to just get tackled by the strongest people in the country over and over and
well, that's what he said.
Again.
He said he was just talking about guys who would just get folded. He said he was naming NBA guys. He's like, they get folded up like one of those camping tables. Like, oh, you're 7 feet tall? Well, you're 4 feet tall now because you just got folded in half. It's a great rant. It is. Shout out to him, man. I know you and I are two people, 2 of the 10 people in the world who appreciate a great rant as much as anybody. And this was a great rant by Chris Long. I highly enjoyed it. I do think there are a few, though. I think there are a few guys who could do it. I do think Anthony Edwards could play safety. Because I don't think safeties are the size of Micah Parsons. Just flying around like a missile. I think he could do it. He's 22 years old. I think he could play safety. The Chiefs just drafted a kid in the first round, weighs 160 pounds. That guy don't want to see Anthony Edwards coming over the middle. Just doesn't.
I'll give you LeBron. Okay. We'll stop right there. Nick Wright, as always, buddy. It's great.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon, Colin. Bye.